This week we're working on preparing the quarter berth area for building the living space that's in it. Before we can do that, there are some projects that have to be done to address some structural aspects of the boat that we've been modifying during the course of the project. So this week we're working on some really cool structural areas of the boat that require some engineering, and we're really excited, well, lucky to have Evan, the naval architect, helping us with these projects. Because if we didn't have, if we didn't address these issues, we could be compromising some of the structural integrity of the boat. My name is Matt. Follow along as I turn Duracell, the legendary ocean racing sailboat, into a comfortable cruising home. Grinding paint and fiberglass is a crappy job. I try to get it done in as few sessions as possible because there's so much preparation and it's a real pain to get in and out of this suit. But the suit is really important. The Tyvek keeps the dust off my skin and clothes, and I wear a full-face respirator and change the filters on it every couple hours while I'm grinding. And I even tape my gloves to my sleeves to prevent any dust from getting on my wrists and arms. Once I'm in the suit, it's not bad, and the satisfaction of seeing all the paint removed when I'm done is worth it.
Watching this footage, I think my husband is both a little nuts for taking on this project, and I'm so incredibly proud of him. From the first day that Matt met Duracell in John's backyard back in 2019, he has had this twinkle in his eye and bounce in his step. I never once doubted he was capable of this project, both the marathon of hard physical work and the intellectual challenge of it. And yet, his relentless commitment and unflagging enthusiasm continues to amaze me. Even at the end of a long day of sanding, he has the Duracell twinkle in his eyes. So sit back, relax, and watch Matt work really hard for 12 hours condensed into just a few minutes of footage.
There's a man around the corner, he's been asking me for change, and I could use some. Think I could use some sometimes. All these things slow me down, like the concrete that's been sticking to the bottom of my shoes. Soles worn and tired have started wearing through. I can feel them heavier now. There's a hole here in my pocket, it reminds me of the ways I am hungry and always running for an open door. But on the highway, heavy-hearted, humming just to hear a sound. Loneliness, it lingers through unfamiliar towns, all of them stunning, and none of them home. And I don't know if I live like this for peace of mind. Can't say if I do it for the foolish pride, or maybe it's all just to prove that I'm alive. I'm alive, so I tell myself I'm brave, and I swear that I'm bold, but I'm afraid it isn't so. Maybe I'm nothing more than alone.
All right, the space is feeling nice and clean because we ground all the old paint off and got everything prepped to be laminated too. So there's a bunch of stuff that has to happen inside here before we start building any bunks or anything. And so the first thing is finishing the stringers, which will be finishing, basically connecting this stringer back to the aft bulkhead, capping this ring frame on both sides. We have to finish the window, fill a bunch of holes, and then we can start building the bunks and stuff. It was really interesting. Yanni was just saying how this small space in a house would be, like in a house this would be a very small space, but in the boat it will be actually 4 spaces. There will be 2 quarter berths, the engine room in the middle, and then the doghouse like settees up above. And so it's going to be, there's a lot to build in here. We're really excited to get to it.
Just to give our viewers a sense, like how wide is it and how long is it?
It is 78 inches long, and that's 6 feet 6 inches. So it's a nice long sleep area, like length to sleep in. 14 feet 2 inches.
Hey Judy. Hey. See if you can walk through the door. Oh. Perfect. No, not quite. Okay. There it is. Matt built it just for you. Mm-hmm. This will be your future room.
This next lamination is just to connect the doghouse to the deck here. So we've already done the outside, obviously, so now we're going to do the inside. We got to do it all the way around the doghouse, but we're just going to do inside the quarter berth area here. And
Spit it out.
I was going to say happy birthday to Mimi. She's 93 years old today, my grandma in Florida.
Aww. Happy birthday, Mimi.
Happy birthday, Iris.
She does watch every episode.
Mm-hmm.
So.
When taping the doghouse to the deck, I'm using 2 layers of 17-ounce biax. One is 8 inches wide and one is 6 inches wide. The layers are tapered so that the stress on the reinforcement is not concentrated at the edge. It is spread out, not to mention that tapering will also make fairing easier later. And you'll notice that I always put the wider layer on the boat first, because I want the entire piece to have good adhesion to the substrate. If the wider piece is on top, where it lays over the edge of the smaller piece, it would likely create a void, and it puts a small bend in the fibers, weakening the reinforcement.
Yeah, that'll work. Totally.
That'll work. Perfect.
I mean, I made mine a little bit thicker. What's gonna happen is that when it warms up, it'll get thinner.
Okay.
Can I give you that to do? You want a trick?
We finished laminating the inside of the doghouse to the boat. Later that afternoon, I laminated over the exposed edge of the ring frame. Leaving a ring frame here about 4 inches tall with the knee shape at the top will work against racking forces in the hull and help support the deck. The ring frame was the forward section of the old ballast tank, which, like the rest of the boat, was built out of foam and fiberglass in a sandwich core construction. When I cut away the tank, it exposed the foam core, so here I am capping the foam which connects the outer fiberglass skins to each other. One thing I didn't grind over or laminate over is, and we showed this on the channel a while back, but here on the inside, what was the inside of the ballast tank, we found these initials. It says MP for, we're pretty sure Mike Plant wrote his initials right here on the boat. And so we coated it with epoxy, but you can still see them, so they'll be encapsulated there forever. So it's a nice little treasure we found on the boat. This is the shape of the stringer that I'm going to build. Like I said earlier, this was the old ballast tank. So this inboard wall went way up. You can see the edge of the ballast tank on the wall there. And so the shape of the tank was the stringer. So it provided stiffness for the hull. But since we cut the ballast tank off, we have to build a new stringer. And so what I've done is I've basically made a shape of a U beam, and tomorrow I'll glue this together tonight. Tomorrow I'll shape it, and then we'll vacuum bag on the laminates for the stringer. So tonight we're just making the shape. Tomorrow we're actually building the stringer on top of it. I used parts of the ballast tanks that I cut out as these walls for the stringer. Again, these are just making the shape of the stringer to laminate over. The thin foam on top bridged the two former walls and gave me something to laminate to, as well as being soft enough to shape.
Happy with it?
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty easy. Tomorrow, it's going to be the important day. This is just the shape of the stringer. The lamination is the important part. Again, I consulted with Evan, the naval architect, who's been extremely helpful advising me for these structural engineering aspects of the project, specifically for the right laminate schedule in building these stringers. The stringers are a system of beams built into the boat to provide structure and stiffness to the hull, especially below the waterline. They are basically upside down, U-shaped beams adhered to the inside of the hull so the hull won't flex. For this build, the top of the beam is unidirectional carbon with the fibers going along the stringer, and then layers of biax extend from the hull over the stringer and back down to the hull on the other side, which forms the shear web. I'm vacuum bagging these stringers again to get a better resin to fiber ratio, which reduces weight and increases strength. And it removes any voids in the lamination, making it stronger. It took me most of the day to get these laminated. We're going to Florida for Thanksgiving next week, so we're not going to release a video until December, I guess. So we'll see you then. But first, we have some more Patreons to thank. First, thank you to Steve, who's from Maine. He's an architect, a retired architect, and he has a cruiser that he sails up and down the coast between Maine and Florida. And thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you so much to Kevin and his family. Kevin let us know that they express their love of the ocean and boating these days by walking their yellow lab on a beach in Southern California where they live. Sounds like Kevin is a big advocate, fully committed to the health of the Pacific Ocean and creating sustainable, healthy water sources in Southern California, which sounds like pretty cool work.
And thank you to Fabian, who's from Germany. He grew up sailing with his dad on a dragon, and he's fixed up a few dinghies for himself and his kids, and most recently gotten his own dragon. If you don't know what a dragon is, they're really cool, old, very sharp racing keel boats. So he's got a big project ahead of him this winter, but thank you very much, Fabian.
And thank you so much to David, who's in Sterling Park, Virginia. He told us that he's a landlubber, but he's fascinated by people who sail away on boats and obviously is cheering us on. So thank you so much, David.
And thank you to Gabe, who is local here. He's up on Whidbey Island, and he just did a big refit on a San Juan 24 that he races and cruises around the area just north of here in the San Juans and Whidbey Island.
Tusen takk til Helge i Norge. Helge lives there with his family and does a lot of sailing. He's been sailing for 40 years. He lived aboard a boat for 5 years and on an island in Norway. And now he is turning his 1986 Beneteau into a single-handed boat because he loves to sail alone, and he plans to sail off into the world during retirement. So thank you so much, Helge.
And last, thank you to Larry, who's in Michigan. Larry is the wisest of all of us in that the boat he sails is his friend's boat. And he races all over, it sounds a lot up there in Michigan on Catalinas and Beneteaus. Even had gotten to do the Port Huron to Mackinac race. So thank you very much to Larry and everybody. Again, thank you so much. We couldn't do this project without you. And we'll look forward to seeing it in a couple weeks.